This is good weather right here. I tell you what, spring is in the air, short sleeves are out. I love it. Let's talk about why we're here. Jeremy, Middle Tennessee Firearms Training, out on the range today on a gorgeous day, by the way. And we're going to talk a little bit trigger reset. Now, why am I doing a video on that now? We've done one of our trigger isolation videos. We did one of those drills in an earlier video. But here's what I want to drive home, and I'm trying to drive home with some people. How many people have I had over the course of 2.5 years and, I don't know, tons of classes, lots of classes, where I see a real problem with trigger reset? Even going to classes and being the student, I don't see it a lot, but it is out there, it does exist. People struggling to understand the concept of don't pin the trigger, get back off the trigger and back on the wall and ready to fire subsequent shots. So that has happened. I've been a part of classes as one class as an RSO. Wasn't my class, wasn't my place to instruct, but I had to give a tip to this individual who carries a gun on job. Part of her job is to carry a firearm. So here's what this person did, and this is what led me to wanting to talk to this person about their trigger reset. Let's see if you can pick up on what we're doing here. So I'm just going to hold it one-handed so that y'all can kind of see gun and make sure we understand and get on the same page of what we're seeing here. So watch what we do with the trigger. We're pinning the trigger after the shot, and then when we need to fire another shot, so hopefully y'all may be able to hear that. I don't know how much of the trigger reset you can hear. Pinning the trigger, and then when you need to fire, you're waiting for the click, and as soon as you hear click, you're yanking through and getting another shot off. Waiting for it to go click and immediately yanking through that shot. And then waiting for the click and so on and so on. And so pinning the trigger. I had to go up to this person and say, hey, why are you pinning the trigger? I didn't start with, do you know what pinning the trigger is? I didn't say, hey, why are you doing, I didn't put it in any other terms. I just simply said, why are you pinning the trigger? This person immediately knew what I was talking about and said, well, that's just the way I was trained, and that's just the way I do it, and I like it. And I said, oh, okay. I didn't say another word. We started backing up. Instructor had them back up and start engaging at different distances. As that person backed up, the target turned into what looked like bird shot. Super inconsistent hits. Super inconsistent all over the place. There was no way, I mean, if you were trying to look at this target and identify what the problem was, my first thing would have been, we got some sight alignment issues here. But that wasn't the issue, because up close, where you don't get to see as many of the flaws up close, this person knew what sight alignment was. When we needed to fire just one accurate hit, this person was able to do that. Anytime we did multi-shot engagements though, and increased that distance, everything just went all over the place. So I then tried to speak to this person again about their trigger reset. Their immediate response was, no, I was taught one way. I'm going to keep doing it this way. I like my way. I don't like that way. So I'm going to keep doing it my way. Which would lead, I didn't ask this question, but I would have had I been the instructor, and I would have simply said, well, then why are you here? You've paid money to be here, or your department has paid money, or whoever you work for has paid money for you to be here. You're supposed to be learning something. What are you doing? Right? So what I want to talk to you today, one simple drill, and again, how many people have I come through classes, again, over the last 2.5 years that have struggled with trigger reset? We work a couple trigger isolation drills and a couple of trigger reset drills. Very few, by the end of the day, don't understand it. Less than 10 of what I've experienced. So it's not a huge group of people, but what I don't want to do is send you home with nothing else to work on. So here is something you can do at an indoor range, stand in the bay, real simple. We're ammoed up, gassed up here. Trigger reset. You can use both hands You can use one hand. I'm going to use one hand so y'all can see trigger. So all I'm going to do is we're going to present the target. We're going to pull off a round and we're going to let the gun recoil up, right? And we're going to keep the trigger pinned as it recoils up. And then as we're driving back down to the target for another shot, we're going to reset the trigger. So what does that look like? Just like this. Pin, coming back down, reset, back on the wall. Pin, reset, coming back down to the wall, on target. Pin, reset, back on the wall. Pin, trigger reset, back on the wall. Pin, trigger reset, back on the wall. Now here's the thing, you start out nice and slow like that, then guess what you can do after that? You can actually then start speeding that process up. Let's make sure we've got enough in there. Yeah, we've got enough in there for 4. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna speed it up a little bit, and you will actually start to notice that as you're talking yourself through it, you will have less and less time to actually tell yourself what to do. So we're on the wall, pin, trigger reset on the wall. Pin, trigger reset back on the wall. Pin, trigger reset back on the wall. Pin, trigger reset back on the wall. And of course we're empty, but you get what I'm trying to do there, right? You get what the point is. Go ahead and gas up another round here. I'm not necessarily worried about my hits just yet. That's really not the focus here. The focus is that reset. Obviously you want to target in a defined spot to shoot, but right now we're just trying to get the trigger reset. So again, and once then you can, if you want to do it 2 hands, it'll look more like this. So it may not recoil as much, but I'm going to try to let the gun recoil. Pin, back on the wall. Pin, trigger reset back on the wall. Pin, I'm slowing down. Trigger reset back on the wall. Pin, trigger is pinned right now. I'm resetting back on the wall. Pinned, trigger reset back on the wall. I don't know if y'all get to hear the click, but as you start to do that faster and faster, you'll notice you don't have time to say it, and eventually you will have kind of cured yourself of the pinning the trigger and waiting till you have something else to shoot at. The last thing that I want to hear, and my least favorite thing to hear when somebody shoots a 1 or 2 shot or 3 shot string is this, right? So we're here, 1, 2, 3, and then they do this. They come back to that compressed ready, and they're supposed to be coming off the trigger when they come back here, and guess what you hear? You hear the gun reset as they're coming back in. That is the last thing I want to hear doing that. I don't want to hear that. I don't even really want to hear your click. I would rather it just happen through recoil. That way when I'm coming back in, my finger is safe and off the trigger already, and there is no reset job that has to be done there. It's a really simple drill, guys. It's a really low round count drill, really as many rounds as you want to dedicate to something like that. And get on the gas, you know, go fast, slow it back down. Go fast, slow it back down, and start varying the speed a little bit there, and you'll start to notice things start to work out really well on the reset for you and getting back on the wall. That's just another way, again, another way, there's not any one way, just another way for you to learn the fundamentals of your trigger. That's all I got, man. This weather's awesome. I'm gonna do some more shooting. If you like the content here on our channel, please like, share, and subscribe. Turn on the notifications. Give us thumbs ups, all that kind of good stuff. Help us grow the channel. That's always appreciated. Get in a class. Get in a class, whether it's with Middle Tennessee Firearms Training or maybe we're not close enough for you. Jump in a class, get some training. You will always learn something. No matter what, I don't care what level of shooter you are, there is always something to be learned. I appreciate you guys very much. I think I hear the ATF about to fly over, so we better tuck tail and run. Hey, Jeremy with Middle Tennessee Firearms Training. Train hard, train safe. Educate, train, defend. Hope to see you on the range.